doesn't fall down. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to get online because I saw there were some questions in regards to the COVID-19 economic injury disaster loan. And since we're approaching the deadline of December the 31st, I thought I'd read the guidelines to you and go over some of the questions that I've been seeing in my inbox, and some stuff that people been forwarding to me. I try to do one of these once a week only because, I post a video once a week, so why not? So just to clarify, or to make sure what we're talking about, as long as we're on the same page, the COVID-19 Economic Injury Disaster Loan was initiated only because the COVID-19. So it's for businesses that started prior to the pandemic. I've seen several questions in regards to the grant, because the grant is associated with the COVID-19 loan, saying, oh, you didn't have to be in business prior to COVID-19, and that is incorrect. So if you go on to the frequently asked questions guide for the target advance, it specifically says you have to be located in the area, and it also says that it's for businesses that were affected from COVID-19 or the pandemic, okay? So if you didn't start prior to the pandemic, you will not be approved for the grant or the loan. Good morning, Marcy. How are you? Another thing I want to point out, there was a few comments in a couple of last videos that I had, that they're wondering how can they apply for the target advance and not accept the loan. There's one way you could do that. The COVID-19 application is the same as the target advance, which is the grant application. If you go through the application, there's a spot before you put your business checking account information in. Would you like to receive a grant, or would you like to be included in the grant? So if you're not approved for the loan and you qualify for the grant, you will still get grant approval, okay? So that was another question. I didn't qualify for the loan, or I don't want the loan. Even if you turn down the loan, if you check that box, yes, I want to be included in the grant, you will be able to be issued the grant if you are approved for the low income area and you demonstrated that you had 30% loss in your revenues, okay? So that is basically what we're talking about today. Now, your eligibility, you have to go through the eligibility questionnaire for the loan. That's just general questions. You need to go through that first page when you apply for the grant or the loan. It's maybe 15 to 20 questions that you have to ask about your business, whether or not you could even apply, okay? And this is size standards and what type of business you have. So you can't be a marijuana business and say you got, because it's not federally, that's not a federal legal business, so they won't give you a grant or a loan for that type of business. Or you can't be a loan shark. There's several businesses that the SBA will not lend to, and you have to meet those requirements under the SBA. That's regardless if you started prior to the pandemic, okay? And there's a size standard. You have to be a small business, less than 500, okay? 500 employees. there's another section that people are asking about. Just make this, I want to make this other point clear as well. So I am a sole proprietorship, I am a S corporation, I am an independent contractor. If you drive Uber, you're an independent contractor. You receive the 1099 of such from Uber or whoever you work for. Even if you are a delivery service, if you receive the 1099, you are considered an independent contract. Therefore, you can apply for the grant or the loan if you want, okay? But like, I want to make this clear. You have to apply for that button, click to apply COVID-19. You have to go through that rigmarole, and they will still pull your credit even if you just want the target advance. And you have to, in the application, if there's a section, yes, I wanted to be considered for the target advance. The target advance is there, like if you applied prior to December 27th of last year and you did not receive your $10,000, you have priority over the people that's just applying now. So another thing I want to encourage people, if you apply for COVID-19 loan, got the loan, but never received the grant because they were all out of money, I would still, I encourage you to apply for that, or send them an email because you already got the loan. You could send them an email saying, hey, I never received the email to apply for the target advance. I would like to be included in that. And then they'll determine whether or not you are not in the located area or what have you. But let them determine that. Don't just make that determination on yourself so you could just say I'm not qualified or whatever. But this is specifically for the people that applied before December the 27th of 2020, okay? They're given special privileges, or you get the money goes to you first, those people, because in the CARES Act, they said they was going to give everybody $10,000, okay? So, do you have to show the 2019 taxes for the target advance? Yes, you do. You have to have filed your target advance, your taxes for 2019 and 2020, because you need to demonstrate whether or not you your monies have decreased. So your gross profit, your revenues in the same period, and that's an 8-week period, okay? So it has to be demonstrated. So SBA will be looking at March of 2019 compared to March of 2020, okay? Just to give you some, a range. But SBA will look at those numbers, and SBA will send out a spreadsheet to you. Okay, you want the target advance? Tell me what you made in March of 2020 and April in 2020, and they will compare what you made in 2019. And you just have to show a demonstration that you decrease of 30%. Okay, for that $10,000. If you want the extra $5,000, you must show that your revenues decrease by 50%. So that's a total of $15,000 you could receive from the SBA, and you don't have to pay it back, okay? But you have to have filed your taxes. Last year, they weren't really worried about it. But this year, I guess because of fraudulent claims and all that stuff, you have to have filed your taxes. Dwayne, you made your corporation in 2020. If you claim that income, it could have been like a Schedule C prior, that's fine. They still want to see a deduction of your revenue, okay? But like if you were actually in business and just formed your corporation or whatever, I would suggest do an amendment for your 2019 taxes. Not in the corporation, just do it at Schedule C. And that's easily explained. Hey, my accountant told me that it's better for me to be a corporation versus a LLC or what have you. But if you haven't filed the 2019 taxes, I would suggest filing that amendment. That's if you really want that $10,000 and you can prove that your revenues have decreased. No problem, Anna. So there's I have a meeting in a few minutes, but I want to go to see what else we're talking about. Another thing I've seen a lot in my comments, whether or not that's, and this is all, common denominator is the taxes. This is all with the 2020 taxes. You should have filed your 2020 taxes by now. They're not going to say, oh, give me an estimate. So that's in your, that second page in the application. They're going to ask, what's your actual gross revenues, your actual cost of goods sold for 2019 and 2020. And when you fill out that 4506T form, it has to match. Marcy, you cannot be considered for a startup for the economic injury disaster loan. However, if you're trying to get a loan for your business, that's one of my things that I offer, or services that I offer. But you have to have a good business plan, and I do work with a lender that they could shop out business loans for you. So just DM me, and maybe I could help you out on that in that end. Ms. Harris, how long does it take for the reconsideration? Right now, they're working on a 4-week time frame for reconsideration. Now, if you if it was something with your taxes, it might be longer. But I received the email from the SBA a couple of days ago, and they're saying it's a 4-week time frame. You know. So your taxes is very imperative of you receiving the economic injury disaster loan and the target advance. So I want to stress that to you guys. We can't be legitimate business owners and expect the SBA to give us money, because they're a business too. They want to receive their monies back. But this is a huge opportunity, because I tell you, when I was shopping for my business, I almost did a business loan with one of my first, when I first started my business. The interest rate is 8 to 9% on the SBA loan, and usually it's like 10 years. It's never like 3.5%, and it's never 30 years. So it's a huge advantage for you to file your taxes, even if you have to file an amendment. And when you file an amendment, people, make sure you find someone to file it electronically. Don't file it, send it in papers, because SBA, or not SBA, but the IRS will, they take so long to process the paperwork. In my last video, I discussed this. I sent in my S corporations. I filed the late number 1, and number 2, we had to mail it in, and they never received it. They denied me for the increase, and I kept on. They kept on saying, oh, we can't find you, can't find you. And finally, I got in contact with the IRS, and they said, oh, we never received the 2019 tax return. What address did you send it to? So that was 3 or 4 months I was waiting in the water for monies from the SBA for my increase, because SBA never received, or the IRS never processed my returns. And finally, I know they processed, because they sent me a damn bill. They sent me a bill for saying, finally, you filed late. But anyway, they have my returns, and I filed it. I had to go back in there, and my accountant filed it electronically. But the main thing is, you need to file it electronically. You're kind of running out of time right now, because right now you only got about maybe 45 days before SBA says, okay, we're getting rid of this economic injury disaster loan program. We think the economy is back on the up and up. We think everybody's already applied for it. So you have a 40, it's a crunch period. And right now, the IRS, if you file electronically, I don't know about amendments, but usually it takes about 3 weeks for a personal, like if you got a Schedule C for 1040s, but for corporate returns, it takes about 4 to 5 weeks for corporate. So, you guys, I'm going to head off. I just wanted to get online because I haven't made a video this